I am most likely not going to be the first person to tell you that your fear of failure is holding you back, but I'm probably going to be the first person to tell you how it is holding you back, the signs and symptoms that it is holding you back, and specifically the mindset shifts and the tangible career actions you're going to take to get out of this self-induced rut. I have a curse where every single time I go to record this podcast, I get a fluff or an eyelash in my eye, and it drives me nuts for the entirety of the episode, but I think I've handled it. We'll see. If I start blinking funny and you're watching clips of this, I'm sorry in advance. But hi, hello, what's up, and welcome back to another episode of the Straight Shooter Recruiter Podcast. My name is Emily Durham. I am your host. I am your producer because, yeah, girl, this is a one-woman show. Thing is, a lot of people talk about the fear of failure and the fear of being seen trying, which is very legitimate, but it's actually really hard for us to register and step outside of our own habits and routines and mindsets and actually see that it applies to us. You know, it's so easy for us to look at our friends and say, oh, you're not applying for that job because you're scared to be seen trying and fail. You're not asking for that promotion because you're scared of rejection. You're not going on dates because you're scared of being let down. All of that is so easy to say when we are not looking at ourselves in the mirror. So if any of these next things I tell you kind of resonate and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I do that. That's because you most likely have a very serious fear of failure and a fear of being seen trying. And we're gonna unpack that today. One of the biggest signs that you have a significant fear of failure, especially at work or in school, is actually procrastination. I know. Now, this doesn't mean if you're a procrastinator that automatically you 100% have a fear of failure. There's a lot of different factors that can make someone a procrastinator. So if this doesn't feel like it applies to you, that's okay. But here's what I will say. People who have a fear of failure also have a fear of starting, because the sooner I start that project, the sooner I ask for that raise or start planning for that promotion, the sooner I'm going to be let down. So why would I start if I know that the end result isn't going to be what I want? Why would I start preparing for that promotion if I know it's just going to let me down? Why would I ask for that raise if I know I'm just going to be told no? Why would I start that project if I'm so unbelievably convinced that whatever I do is going to be so bad and picked apart by my manager that I'm just going to put it off because I can't handle feeling stupid during the entire workday? I'm just going to leave it for the last hour. And then suddenly you have 6 projects due, a promotion you haven't prepared for, and you're getting paid the same salary that you have been for the last year and a half. A lot of people don't realize how closely intertwined procrastination and perfectionism actually are. People tend to think that procrastinators are lazy, they're not hard workers, they just put things off because they're not very intelligent. No, most people procrastinate because they want things to be done so well that they don't even know where to start, or that they're so scared of them making a mistake throughout the process of asking for that raise or working on that project that they're terrified to put themselves in the position to fail. So they would rather put it off and, delay that pain until later. That's a very common thing that perfectionists also do. If you are someone who goes home and has tears in your eyes and anxiety in your belly because you slipped up and said the wrong thing in a meeting, or typed up the wrong thing in an email, or maybe you emailed the wrong attachment. I've done that a bunch of times, and it sits with you for hours or days or the entire weekend. Or the kind of Sunday scaries that you get are the kinds that, yes, you're nervous to start the work week and you have a lot going on, but it's the kind of Sunday scaries where you're like, am I a stupid person? Do people not like working with me? Those are the Sunday scaries that come from perfectionism. And usually, my friend, if you're a perfectionist, you were probably also the kid in elementary school or in high school who cried when you didn't get straight A's, who was always trying to overachieve to prove your worth. And now that school is done, you started doing that as an adult. And here's the thing, there are no arbitrary grades in corporate America. There's no one going to pat us on the back and say, hey, you did a good job. So we don't get that same level of gratification when we do things quote unquote perfectly. So the bar for perfect keeps getting higher and higher and higher, and our anxiety gets higher and higher and higher, and our health concerns get higher and higher and higher. I'm actually going to do a whole other episode about the impact of physical health and anxiety from work on our lives and how those are all kind of intersected, because it is actually really, really scary how physically ill we become when we are so stressed from work. Another sign that you are terrified of failure, terrified of rejection, terrified of being seen trying is that you have stayed in your comfort zone for so long that you're not even aware that there is a life beyond your comfort zone. This could look different for different people, but I can speak to a specific situation I know, I have people that I have coached who have stayed in the same job for 6, 7, 8, 9 years. That's not inherently a bad thing. Sometimes you're like, this job challenges me. I'm enjoying it. The pay is great. Why would I want to go do the next thing? But these are people who want to earn more money. They are people who want that career development, but they don't know how to get out of that position, so they feel stuck. And it's safer to stay there than it is to put yourself out there and try. People who stay in relationships where you're like, I'm not happy. This friendship doesn't serve me even a little bit, but this is all I know. And I'm going to stay here because the discomfort of what I know feels safer than the discomfort of what I don't. What's on the other side of change. I actually saw a TikTok, God, as if TikTok is like a credible source for information. But I swear I use TikTok for like all of my like pick-me-ups throughout the course of the day. But I saw somebody make a TikTok that I loved. And I wish I could find the original source because there was a whole bunch of different versions of this going around. But somebody had made a video that said, if it feels like your life is falling apart, it's usually because your new life is going to start. The cost of your new life is the life you're currently living. So yeah, when you're ready to level up, it's going to feel like you're walking away from your dream job, your dream partner, your dream everything. But those are the dreams you think you want. The dreams you actually want and deserve are on the other side of that. And you're only going to get to the other side if you leave the position you're currently in. Okay, so getting into specifics of how this manifests in your career, most people who have a fear of failure are not asking for additional projects or stretch opportunities. They're not asking for promotions, and therefore they're not asking for raises. They're not asking for more visibility in terms of speaking arrangements, mentorship, networking. Ultimately, if you have a fear of failure, you have a fear of being seen. Because inherently, when people see you, they have the opportunity to see you shine, but they also have the opportunity to see us suck. And that's really scary. So instead of putting yourself out there and asking to present at that 200-person meeting, you're saying, no, I'm going to sit in the backseat because I don't want y'all to see me fumble my words. But what if we changed your mindset to, okay, if you see me fumble one word, I can't wait for you to see the rest of that presentation that I rock. I can't wait for you to see me as a whole, complete, imperfect person in front of that audience. And now I really want to segue, baby. I want to segue into what we're going to do if any of these things resonated with you, because it is going to hold back your career. You need to let go of your fear of failure, because failure is not the enemy. Rejection is not the enemy. There's not one thing in your life so far that you didn't get that didn't lead you to something better. I can say that for myself too. Jobs I thought I wanted, people I thought I wanted, cities I wanted to live in. Do you know how close I was to moving to the UK? I was like a hair away from moving to London. I was so prepared to pick up my life and leave. The opportunity didn't pan out. That was the best thing that ever happened to me. I live in my dream city now. I'm only an hour away from my family. I have my best friends in the world living 5. I'm looking out my window because I can see my best friends' apartments. And that's the life I was almost going to give up in the pursuit of what I thought I wanted that I would have gotten if I didn't get rejected. The only way that we build confidence in things is by doing it. You don't build confidence as a soccer player watching soccer on TV. So if you actually want to crush the self-belief that you are not capable of doing things, you need to start doing those things. And part of that confidence building is realizing that, yes, if it doesn't work out, you're still going to be okay. If you make the mistake, nothing changes. If they say you're not getting that raise, okay, then nothing changes. The worst thing that happens most times is nothing. You ask for the promotion, you don't get it. Okay, nothing's changed. All right, not an issue with me. Seems fine. You ask for that additional opportunity. It doesn't pan out. Okay. So nothing's changed. At work, the worst thing that's going to happen for the most part is nothing. 9 times out of 10, the answer is nothing. If you don't put yourself in the position to fail, you're never going to succeed and you're never going to get comfortable with failure. I don't want you to go into pushing yourself mentally with the goal of being successful. If you go in asking for a raise thinking, okay, I'm going to do this because I'm going to get the raise and that's going to boost my confidence. If you don't get the raise, it is going to do so much damage to your psyche. Your goal needs to be almost like radical acceptance of the fact that you will get rejected multiple times in your life, over and over and over again. You need to go into those conversations and ask for those things knowing you might not get them, but the confidence isn't about what other people do. It's what you chose to do, and you chose to advocate for yourself. And you are proving to yourself, okay, maybe I can't get that raise. I can't get that promotion, because that has nothing to do with me. Whether they have budget, whether they have time, maybe we don't have a good relationship with this boss. None of that is in our control. The only thing in our control is our ability to advocate. So shift the focus not from how other people are going to receive the information, because we can never control that. but shift the focus back onto I am capable of asking for these things and advocating for myself. And you'll start to get confidence asking. You ask for something 10 times, I guarantee you one time you're going to get what you want. It's just how the world works. Tip number 1, you need to reframe failure as learning. I know it sounds so corny. You're like, girl, I've heard of this. Yeah, you have. But do you actually know what that looks like? That means when you get little feedback at work, when you start to feel your body responding, saying, oh my God, that's an attack on me. No, breathe through it. Literally pause. And remember, this person is giving me an opportunity to be better. It's not a personal attack. They're not saying, oh, you're a shitty person. They don't even know you. It's work. These people are talking about things you've typed up on a laptop, in a cubicle. We float on a rock. What do you mean we're going to cry and take it as a personal attack? We're not doing that. That's not happening. Make it less personal. Ask yourself, when you give other people feedback, is it an attack on their personality? No. So why would it be for you? That's your own internalization and feeling like you need to be perfect at everything. You don't. It's a task-based set of feedback. Learn to take that as a gift, adjust, move forward. Do not let yourself sit on the feedback that you get for a long period of time. You also need to start taking risks at your work, because the more that you fail, the more you will become desensitized to failure. Ask big questions, take on big projects, get told no more. Challenge yourself to 3 real tangible goals every single week, whether that is speaking up at a meeting, asking for something. I don't know what it might be in your specific situation, but have 3 goals that are achievable, and make the goal of you achieving these things, not necessarily getting the desired result, but putting yourself out there. And that is the measure of success. And if you were able to do that, that is the win. And the more you do that, the more you're going to get positive results and feedback. I talk a lot about talking, classic. I talk a lot about how we talk to ourselves. And again, all of this stuff sounds fluffy, but it's not. The reason people talk so ad nauseum about our relationship to ourselves and how we talk about ourselves is because it does fundamentally rewire your brain. If you're constantly telling yourself, I'm not a good public speaker, you are going to believe that. Why would you do that to yourself? If you are telling yourself, oh, I'm never going to get that promotion, you're so correct. You need to rewire the way you speak to yourself. In the morning, maybe you need to start doing positive affirmations. And I know you're going to listen to this and be like, Emily, this is so stupid. Like, I'm not looking in the mirror and saying I'm smart. Yes, you are. I'm telling you, if you do this, your brain will chemically change. There are studies about this. I'll link them in the description. I'm not making this up. I never, ever, ever. If you listen to this show, like early seasons, I never talked about positive self-talk. So I was like, it's so fluffy. I started doing it because I went through a really serious bout of insecurity at work. I had changed jobs, I had changed teams. And to be honest, I was much less experienced than the people I was working with. And I just felt stupid. And my lack of confidence and my fear of failure was really impacting my ability to lean in at work, which was impacting my pay. It was impacting a lot of things. I almost quit what ended up becoming my dream job because I was so fixated on all of these negative self habits. And one of the things that I did, in addition to therapy, we love therapy, is I looked in the mirror and I'd be like, Emily, you have this job because you deserve it. You are really smart. You are very kind. You are a quick learner. Let's just get through today. And that got me through each day. And suddenly I wasn't an okay recruiter. I was the number 1 recruiter in the country. This next piece of advice I'm going to give with an asterisk, because if you're a chronic overthinker, this is not for you. Not for you. But I actually do I say this? Yes, I had an ex-boyfriend of mine tell me this. We were like 22, and honestly, this kid was wise beyond his years. Great dude. I remember I had so much anxiety, and it was about something at work. And he said, Emily, what is the absolute worst case scenario? And I said, well, they open up the document, they see that my data is a little bit messy because I'm not good with data, and they fire me. He said, okay, and if you get fired, what are you going to do? I said, I'd have to look for another job, and I'd be really upset. He said, do you think you'd find another job? I said, yeah, probably. And he said, okay, so you already know how you're going to handle the worst possible outcome. What are you stressed about? You've already got a game plan. Make a game plan for the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario most times is nothing happens, by the way. You ask for the raise, they don't give it to you. What are you going to do? Your options are you stay at the company or you go look for another job. What's the big deal? Nothing changes. 9 times out of 10, things don't change, but visualize what success could look like and what failure can look like so you are mentally prepared. Again, if you're an overthinker, you have already done this. You actually need to do the opposite. Your ass needs to stop thinking. This just sparked another thought, and I think you really need to ask yourself this. Is your fear of failure bigger than the regret you're going to feel from not trying at all? What if you never get that promotion? What if you never ask that cutie patootie on a date because you're scared of getting rejected? Let them reject you. If you are going to get rejected from something, it wasn't meant for you either way, and nothing is changing. If that was truly meant to be yours, you will get it. And if it's not, nothing you do is going to change the outcome that that job or that person or that city was not meant for you. You need to release the control. You're trying to control every single thing in your vicinity. What time you show up to work, this, that. You're trying to control everything so that it stays perfect and it stays like in your zone of visibility. That's not how life works. Listen to me very carefully. And I'm looking at my damn self as I say this because I need to hear this too. If it's meant for you, it's going to find you. If it is the job you are meant to have, you're going to have that job. If you ask for the promotion and you get it, it's because it was meant to happen that way. If you ask for the promotion and you don't, it's because something better is coming. You need to trust that things aren't happening to you, they happen for you. And I know that's like a bit of a blanket statement. There are things that are just shit. But in the context of careers where things are serious but not that serious, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And your fear of failure and your fear of having other people perceive you to be something needs to be the smaller of the two fears. Your fear of not being authentic to you and not advocating for yourself and looking back in 50 years going, I wish I just tried a little bit more loudly. That needs to be the fear that keeps you up at night, is the what if, not the if I. Who gives an SHIT what other people think of us? Tell us no 100 times. All I need you to do is tell me yes once. The only way we're going to fail is if we stop asking. Period. I come to you today asking you, leave a rating and a review for the show. Hard, y'all. It is not easy to snap out of this mindset. It is a daily practice. You're going to do things you don't feel like doing. You're going to have to ask people for help. You're going to have to build a network. It is a daily practice. But the next time you're in your head scared to ask for things, put this episode on and listen to my words carefully when I say, there is not one person you respect that hasn't felt what you're feeling right now. Myself included. My business, my whole life is talking about being confident. Do you think I haven't called my friends crying when I haven't gotten the promotion? Called my friends crying over a breakup, being like, why doesn't he want me? Why doesn't he want me? What's wrong with me? We are all layered people who feel deeply. What we need to do is build the tools to dig ourselves back up from the holes that we fall into. And that's what I hope this episode was for you, because babe, you are too smart. And I can already tell too hot, because only hot people listen to this show, to be sitting there upset over this. Go fail. Fail fast, learn, keep it moving. The more you fail up front, the more you're going to win later. And that's a promise. Thank you so much for listening to this show. Damn, I love hanging out with you. I really do. If you want more content, don't forget that I am live every Sunday and Wednesday, baby. We're a twice a week affair over here. I love hanging out with you 2 times a week. And if you have questions, things you want me to answer, my advice on things, whatever it is, send in your questions, babes, all in the description. All up in the description of this episode. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will talk to you in my next episode.